We're going to have a great day. We'll have people coming in and out over the next few hours. We're going to get started with someone who is a Rays of Hope alumni. So that is our wonderful in-person survivor conference. It's one of the only or very few conferences, I can't think of another one, where you can go for free. So you're allowed as a survivor of any type of brain injury to come and to have the day your way. If you would like to just catch up with friends and have coffee, you can do that all day. You can check out our wonderful speakers. That will be back in person on Friday, May 13th next year. So we are thinking Friday the 13th is going to be lucky for us. So we hope to all be together in person. Steve Gamlin was there. We were trying to remember if it was 2017 or 2018. I remember it was before Uber, because before Uber, I would pick the speakers up from the airport, and and it was always the day before a very large conference. So for the staff and I, we weren't at our wonderful de-stressed best, but Steve was a wonderful speaker. He made a lot of great connections, and some of the things that he said still stay with me. He really talked about the attitude we bring to other people. And I remember this, he talked about when you have a bad morning, you just go in around your house or into the office and you're just stomping and angry and just going to bring that energy everywhere. And so I always, when I'm having a bad morning, I'll always stop and think about that. So Steve's always got some great food for thought, and he knows firsthand that I cannot navigate Sky Harbor Airport to save my life. So we're really happy for him to join us from the East Coast and share a little bit on what he's been up to, and also just navigating everything that's going on. And I just want to personally encourage everyone to, as we talk today about finding your spark, to really also give yourself permission to grieve and feel what we sometimes think as the little things, but gosh, they're the big things. There's so much going on. Sometimes you feel like you can't feel the grief and loss over those minor things. And I just really encourage you to hold those in your heart today too, because those are important. So Steve, come on down and the floor is yours. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Carrie. I was actually going to take the hit for our extended tour of the airport that day, because I was riding shotgun when you picked me up, and I believe I was supposed to be looking for our exit, and I think we had to drive back around 2 or 3 times. So I was going to take the hit for that and just say that, I asked for an extended tour of the airport. I wanted to see every single gate, and I think we did that day. So.
Well, there's been some new construction there. You'll have to come back then, and we'll take another tour.
I look forward to it. But thank you so much for having me back, and you and Kristen and all the work that led up to today. And I'm truly honored to be here and be invited back to be a part of the Brain Injury Alliance of Arizona community. I am drinking water from the beautiful mug that you sent me, so that's part of today too. So my presentation today is talking about how did COVID affect our vision boards. And for those who may not be 100% familiar with a vision board or what it's all about, do a little bit about that, and then we'll talk during our time together about ways that you can understand that even if we've been a bit more limited by where we've been able to go, what we've been able to do, and who we've been able to be around for the past 18 months, we can still plot out, know where we are, know what's great about us and what's great about our lives and the opportunities we have, and how to bounce ourselves off the wall a different way. A lot of people say pivot, and I've just heard that word so many times. I just say, look, we're just going to bounce everything off the wall a different way and keep on rocking forward. So first off, what is a vision board? Vision board to me, and I've actually got a sample of one of mine here. I describe vision boards as a well-mounted GPS for the rest of your life. It is a gathering of pictures, of words, of hashtags, of mantras, of phrases, of things that are important to you and indicate where you wish to go in life. In the very basic version of this, please raise your hand if you've ever set New Year's resolutions in the past. A lot of times people say, oh, I'm setting my resolutions. Resolutions are often very reactive. When people wake up on New Year's morning and go, oh my gosh, I have got to get in shape. Oh my gosh, I will never drink as much as I did last night. Oh my gosh. They're very reactive to how we may feel in the moment. They're also very broad brushed. In 3 of the most popular New Year's resolutions over the years. People say, I'm setting my goals. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy, and I want more money. Well, not very specific. So a big part of what I talk about and how I train and work with my clients and my coaching clients is to get very specific and dialed in. And we're going to talk in detail about all the different areas of our lives coming up shortly. But what happens with resolutions? If you've ever had a gym membership, here's what happens with resolutions. If you've ever had a gym membership and you notice in the first couple of weeks of the year that you have to wait for equipment at the gym, and then all of a sudden 3 weeks in, you don't have to wait as long. And a few weeks later, you can just see empty machines all across the gym. That's resolutions. Not a lot of dedication, not a lot of action taken, not a lot of follow through, not a lot of consistency and momentum being built. They're flash in the pan. And what happens at the end of the year for a lot of people who made resolutions, the very weakest version of goals there are, they're cleaning up their house between Christmas and New Year's. And they see a folded piece of paper holding up that lamp in the living room, keeping it from rocking. And it's got salsa stains and the pizza guy's number on it. And they go, I wonder what this is. And they open it up and they go, oh my gosh, my resolutions. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted more money. Oh no, there's 5 days left in the year. I know what I'll do. They bust out a pen and they just change the year and they write 2022. That's going to be my year. You know what I'm going to do in 2022? I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be healthy, and I'm going to make more money. And here we go again. So vision boards are like resolutions on steroids. What you start to do is you actually begin to see and be able to describe. And I know visualizing is not easy for everyone. But if you see something out there and you say, you know what, I'd like to have that someday. I'd like to live like that person someday. I'd like to be a part of this someday. And you start to see out there what your end goals are in different areas of your life. That's visualization. And some people are very super creative, and some people struggle with that. So what I encourage people to do is either think these things up on your own or see examples out there and just start taking pictures and start describing them to yourself and start feeling what it would feel like to have that as part of your life and moving forward toward that consistently. Because there are people out there who set a goal. I want to be a millionaire. I'm going to win the lottery. You go, wonderful. Have you bought a ticket yet? No, nobody wins those things. There are people out there who actually set goals like that. They set them and forget them. And look, you are not a roasted chicken on a Saturday morning infomercial. You know, the old set it and forget it thing. That's not what visualization and goal setting are all about. You need to become an active participant in whatever it is you are seeking out in your life. And one of the visuals I want to share in here is, here we are. There we go. And I've got a mouse pad that does not want to work well today. Okay, here we go. Oh, I apologize. The upper thing, there we go, is a life wheel. Now, there are people out there who talk about, they say, oh, this work-life balance thing, I've got to get better at that. What they're missing is work is only 1/8 of the different parts of our lives that are actually working simultaneously at all times. Now, sometimes this life wheel scares people and they're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to think about all these areas of my life. I have to set goals for every single one of these. How can I possibly devote all the time? And I just say, hey, hold on, pause button. You're already doing all these things. You just may not be aware of it. But what I do with this is educate people on how many different parts of their lives they really do have, how they all work together, prop each other up, support each other. So instead of thinking work-life balance, I want you to understand that 24/7, no matter what's going on in your life, wherever you may be, or the circumstances of the past 18 months, you have your career, you have your finances, you have your physical health, you have your emotional well-being. What emotions are you feeling on a regular basis? You have your ethics and morals, and how do they guide you through the world every day? Are you seeking opportunities to express kindness, to live to the level of ethics, morals, and integrity that you wish to live? You have your connection with the world in a real way, and I'll tell you what, that one has taken a wrecking ball to so many people. We feel isolated, we feel down, we feel disconnected from the world around us. We also have our spirituality and our faith, and we have our relationships, the people closest to us, our wives, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, partners, significant others, and kids, if you have kids as well. These are the closest relationships. Now, what people need to understand is all of these are working together at all time. We all have all of these parts of our lives operating. And what I encourage people to do when they're setting goals, whether you do a vision board or not, when you're setting goals, I want you to keep in mind and understand how these all work together. And if you're thinking of goals, we're heading into the final quarter of the year 2021. It went by so quickly. Start thinking of, in the year 2022, where would you like your life to be in each of these categories? If you think of just one word to describe where you would like to be at the end of the year. Now, if you're a numerical person, I want you to think of, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this in your life to set a goal in the next year? If you have pictures or feelings or examples or a visualized representation of how you want your life to be. For example, let's talk physical health. Wherever you may be on the scale right now, and believe me, last year during the first part of COVID, I hit the highest number on my scale. We don't even own a scale. I had to go to the doctor's office. And he said the number, and I went, huh? It was a high number. I did a lot of sitting down last year. I wasn't on stage speaking. I was here dressing nicely from the waist up and doing my presentations and snacking a lot. So my goal for this year was to go from last year's lifetime high of 247 down to 210 this year. So say your goal is to be healthier. You don't just wish for it. You don't just say, I'm visualizing, I'm manifesting this 210-pound, lower fat body that doesn't pop buttons off my jeans. What you do is you start to see the goal. You start to, if you have a picture of when you weighed that much, let's just say weight is one of your goals, find a picture of when you were at that weight and how happy you looked and how different you looked and how healthy you looked. And then start to think of what you can do to get there. If you're able to get out and exercise, get out and do a little walking, move around your house, walk around your yard, get your arms moving, even with some small weights, just get moving. If you have a Fitbit, or even on your phone, you can get the free Fitbit downloadable app to track how many steps you're walking throughout the day. And believe me, I've had days where I looked at my phone and said, I walked 63 steps today. Yep. A couple times to the kitchen, a couple times to the bathroom, and that was it. I did not move the rest of the day. So I started to set a number of steps I wanted to walk. And over time, when you build up these small habits and you are consistent and you build momentum, and you're drinking water instead of beverages that might not be as healthy for you, and you're choosing to eat better foods. I mean, I'm eating vegetables now whose names a year ago I couldn't even spell, and I'm actually enjoying them. And I'm already down about 25 pounds just since mid-April, when it hit springtime here in New England, and I just started walking. And then when the gym opened back up, started going to the gym. Drink water all day long. And every day, just try to get out there and take the steps. And thinking in those small daily increments, you progress closer to your goal. You get further, you get more confident. Consistency plus momentum equals confidence. That's about as deep as I get into math, but I do know that one. And if you start to think of the goals that you have in each part of your life, you can start to progress forward. You make the little steps part of every single day, and you get there. And it makes it a lot less scary than it used to be when we're just setting resolutions and broad brushing the topic. Instead of just saying, I want to be healthier this year, actually mapping out a way that you can do that is so freeing and is so much better for us than just wishing for things. So I want to talk about.
Quick question.
Yeah,
somebody
sure.
loved that wheel and is wondering if you would be sharing your slides with us.
I most definitely will. Would it be helpful if I emailed them to the office and then allowed you to distribute them?
And I can send that out as part of the follow-up. Perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, that's one that a young lady that I coached a number of years ago after a presentation was a graphic designer, and she said, I would love to do this for you. And the people we meet along the way, right? So I will gladly send that your way. So some people, when I share that story right up front about all those different ways, they get really overwhelmed because maybe they're not familiar with visualization. So I created a little thing that I call Visualize in 5. It's the 5 most basic steps to understand the principles going on behind visualization. And a big part of it, first off, understand, this is now going back to the life wheel, understand where your life is right now in each of those categories, kind of like the starting point. And when I called the vision board a wall-mounted GPS for the rest of our lives, we always have to know, or it knows, where we are right now, so that when we determine where we wish to go, we have a starting point, we have an end point. So we know where we're coming from at all times. So I do encourage people to assess where they are right now. And then when you start to apply the Visualize in 5 concepts that are in this list, first up, what do you want? And so many people don't even know what they want. They want more or they want better. They just want to feel better than they feel right now. They want something better. They want to have better relationships. They'd like a better job. They wish to make more money. We all do. They wish for more connection because they feel so lonely and disconnected from the world. And the last 18 months has been so difficult for a lot of people with that. So step 1 in the Visualize in 5 process is, what do you want? And please be descriptive. Some people say, I want a new car. Wonderful. What year, what make, what model, what color? Does it have a sunroof? How loud is the stereo? How fast will it go? Think of what you want in as much detail as possible, because what you're doing is you're creating this X on a treasure map. And think of what we would do without maps. If you don't know where you are and where you want to go, there would be a lot of pirates digging a lot of holes and a lot of beaches looking for the treasure going, "Arr, we missed again. It might be that one over there." If you know where you are and know where you want to go, that is the X on your treasure map. Why do you want it? Number 2. And you can't just say, well, because where I'm at right now stinks. No. Why do you want this? Going back to the weight loss example, why did I want to lose weight? Well, I had 4 pairs of shorts upstairs in my closet in the summer wear bin that when I pulled them out last year, I held them up. I said, well, they can get another season out of this. Uh-oh, button's missing. Gaining so much weight, I popped the button on 4 pairs of shorts last year. And I threw them back in the bin. So why do I want it? Hey, I want to stop popping the buttons off some pretty good clothing that I have. So that was a good reason. Plus, I weave a little humor into everything I do as well. Background on radio, background on stand-up comedy as well. So why do you want it? And I encourage people to have a very emotional connection to why they want what they want. When my sister and I were kids, we were about 10, 11 years old. My dad went to say goodnight to my sister and she was crying. And he said, well, what's the matter? And she says, well, we had somebody come to school today and talk about how dangerous smoking is for you. And our dad was a pack or 2-pack a day Marlboro smoker back then. This is around late 70s, early 80s. And she says, Daddy, I want you to walk me down the aisle someday at my wedding, and I don't want you to die. My dad quit smoking cold turkey the next day because he had emotionally connected why. Now, they don't all have to be dire or doom related, but when you can connect to why you want what you want, that's going to be the gas in your tank. It's going to be the juice. It's what's going to keep you on track when other people try to pull you off track, or if things don't work out right away. You know, have you ever set a goal for something and you started to progress toward it and take action and things just weren't happening? And so many people give up. There's a book out there, very famous book. It's called 3 Feet from Gold. And the principle is so solid. We get closer. We're doing the work. We're not seeing reward. And so many people stop 3 feet from gold. So I highly encourage people to go out there and look it up. Look up 3 Feet from Gold. There may be some short videos explaining the synopsis of the story or the book itself. Know why you want what you want and get emotionally connected to it. If you're feeling like you're struggling out there with it, step 3 is, who already has it? We set goals for ourselves sometimes and we go, oh my gosh, I don't know how I will ever get this. I don't even know where to start. Well, here's a question. Who is already out there having achieved or is enjoying the rewards you wish to have? Who's already out there living the life you want to have? Who's out there, back to the example of getting in better health and losing weight, who out there has lost some weight? We see people all day long sharing that on social media. My weight is down. My weight is down. I'm healthier. I'm happier. I've got all these things going on. Find their YouTube channels, find their social media, follow them, find their blogs, listen to the podcasts that they've been on. These people who've already achieved what it is we say we wish to have already done all the work. They've left the clues. They've left the map. So we don't need to feel as though we're out here all by ourselves. There is an amazing universe. If you have the internet, you can get any answer to anything you wish to learn or to do. Or you can find examples of people out there who get to be your heroes right off the bat because they've done the work. They are living the lives we wish to have. So it is up to each of us to go out there and start tapping into their knowledge. Hey, if you get the opportunity, reach out. Maybe you can send them an email or send them a message or get on the phone with somebody or find their YouTube channel or even see them at a live event, which I hope are coming back very soon. I've gotten to meet some of my heroes over the years who've just blown my mind, who have shown me better ways to do and to enjoy everything I wanted to have in my life. That's one of the first things I do when I set a goal is ask myself, who's already done this? Who's going to be my hero? Who's going to be my example out there? Step 4, who are you? Meaning, are you the type of person who is going to take on the actions? Are you the type of person who's going to go out and blaze that trail? I do a fair amount of coaching newer speakers to the industry who are where I was 20 years ago, nervous, scared, shy, uncomfortable in front of large crowds of people. And I'll say, what's your goal? I want to be on stage in front of 5,000 people. Excellent. Have you ever done it? Nope. Have you ever been on stage in front of everybody? No, I'm really, really, really shy and uncomfortable in front of people. Okay, we have a little bit of a disconnect here. Let's start to work on this. And then we start working through it. Well, what's a quality that makes a good speaker? You have a good story. Okay, great. You're confident and comfortable sharing that story. Yes. See, the number of people in an audience eventually won't matter. It's understanding that you need to become the type of person who can execute and take the actions and get closer to that goal. I see people all the time say, I want to be healthier. Go to the gym, exercise, work out, start walking. I'm really not comfortable with anybody seeing me exercising. And I understand that. But what we have to do is we have to start believing in ourselves a bit more. We have to become that person. And there's a great phrase out there. Some people love it. Some people hate it. I happen to embrace it because I hear a different meaning behind it. Fake it till you make it. It's like becoming your own superhero and being confident. In 2010, loved being on stage, loved being on podcasts, audio only, hated being on camera. Did not like it. I would watch them back and go, oh my gosh, is that what I really look like? Is that what I sound like? I don't want to be on camera. And a dear friend and mentor of mine, who is still my coach, started a 30-day challenge. 30 days, you had to create a video and put it up on YouTube and tell everybody all about it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not that person. I'm not the person who can just get on camera and deliver a message and be comfortable with it. I did 24 different takes on that first day until it was about 8 o'clock at night. He sent me a message, brother, where's your video? Get that video up there. Come on, come on, come on. It's only day one. We get 29 more. So I did one more take and I put it up there. And I probably said a few bad words that I won't say here. And I just said, fine, there. And 3 days later, I got an email from someone that I didn't know who said, hey, Steve, you don't know me? I watched your video. Oh my gosh, how did you know I needed that message that day? That helped me so much. Just wanted to say thank you. And the rest of the month, did every video, one take, put it out there. Didn't have to be perfect. I became the person who was confident enough to know that what I was sharing was helping. So whatever your goals are, you can very quickly become the person you need to be by just doing the work and growing into the role. And the 5th step, what should you do next? What is the next action that you need to take? What is the first step that you need to take to get to whatever one of your goals may be? What is the first thing. And they're usually very simple. And a story I share a lot is comparing our lives to an old wooden roller coaster. And I'm a big roller coaster fan. And if you are, please raise your hand or raise both and scream. I don't care right now, as long as you're muted. Don't scream with your mic on. I love old wooden roller coasters because I believe they are a great metaphor for life. What we do is we get into the roller coaster at the bottom of the hill, and we all have the same goal. We have to get to the top of that first hill, go over, and then we get to enjoy that ride. So what do you want? You want to get to the top of that first hill. Why do you want it? Because on the other side of it, there's a celebration, there's a thrill, there's an excitement, there's emotion on the other side. It's just amazing and thunderous and loud and fast. And it's just such excitement. Who already has it? Well, there's some people on that ride with you who've already done this and they loved it so much that they got back on. Who are you? Are you the type of person who's actually going to enjoy the ride? It's okay if you're scared, as long as you get on the ride and start going for it. Maybe you find people who've already been on that ride and you ask if you can sit next to them, because there's comfort in that. And what should you do next? You pull down that bar that's going to keep you safe, and you start going click, 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 click. You have to do every single step. You have to take every small, tiny action to get closer to whatever one of your goals is, whether it's on your vision board or written on a list, whatever it is. You have to take all of these small steps. And when you identify what the next one is, Martin Luther King had a phrase, and I'm going to paraphrase it. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just the next step, because you will eventually get closer and closer and closer. You can't skip any steps. You can't start near the top. You have to start right at the bottom and do every single little tiny step to get you over the top of that ride. And once you get over, once you've done everything it takes, once I've hit 210 pounds, yes, I will continue to eat well and work out and not drink any alcohol and drink water all day and make better food choices and only have one plate per meal versus the two that I used to have. I'll continue to do that. But once I do, I'm going to celebrate that number so loudly and beautifully and take a picture of myself that day, because it proved to me that I could do that. And that photo will go on the next vision board to help gear me toward the next goal. So start thinking of your goals with these 5 steps. What do you want? Why do you want it? Who already has it? Who are you? And are you the right type of person who's going to pursue it? If not, slowly become that person, acting as if, as Jack Canfield says, who's one of my heroes. And what should you do next? Now, I want to give an example of one of my coaching clients. Now, this is the beauty of when you set a goal and when you are open and honest with yourself, when you know why you want it, when you know who you're going to have to become to do it, when you know what your steps are. This is Jen. You can see Jen's face here in a couple of the pictures. This is Jen. Now, Jen came up to me after an event. I've been speaking for her company now. This coming January is going to be, I believe, our 13th year together. And they bring me in every January, and I do a live vision board event for a couple of hours with them at their headquarters. And there are several hundred people around the country also watching the broadcast of this. Jen came up to me about 3 or 4 years ago after a presentation and said, "Hey, Steve, I've got this kind of weird goal." And I said, "Okay." She says, "I want to go on a safari in Africa." She's been fascinated by Africa, National Geographic and all these specials that you see. She is fascinated and she wants to go on a safari so badly, but she wasn't even sure of how to pursue it. So we started to go through the Visualize in 5. What do you want? Why do you want it? Who already has it? Who are you? And what steps do you need to take? So she knew she wanted to go on safari in Africa. She then told me that her favorite jungle animal is the giraffe, which became a recurring theme in what we were doing. So as we had our first initial conversations, I said, "Well, how much is it going to cost?" Well, she didn't know. I said, "Well, reach out to your travel agent and find out, get some more information on some of the different packages that are available." See, who already has done this? Her travel agent knows all the information. She determined it was going to take $10,000 to book this trip. So I said, "All right, in addition to paying your bills, using your business, how long will it take you to save $10,000? She said, "Well, it's going to be about 2 years." Perfect. What action do you have to take next? Well, she got the information. She knew how long it was going to take to earn that money. And then we really started. I said, you need to create a tracking system to know click, 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 how much closer you are to the top of that first hill at all times. And she said, I don't know how to do it. I see these big thermometer fundraising things. We've all seen those outside of banks and downtown buildings. We're on our way to our goal. And at the very top, they show the thermometer blowing up, blood all over the sign. I happened to be online and looked up pictures of giraffes. And you can see here on the screen, there's a picture of a giraffe with a bunch of spots on it. It's from a children's coloring book. So I saved that picture, and it had just enough spots on it to write Jen and Mikey. That's Jen's boyfriend, Mikey. And then 500, 500, 500, 500. So this represents 10 spots at $500. That's $5,000. That's her first year. Now, Jen is in a business that depends upon in-home parties and live events at things like Expo. She's in a direct selling company. We made her goal public to her client base and to her company team and all of her coworkers. And all of a sudden, I also created the hashtag Giraffe Africa, Giraffrica for her. She became known as Giraffrica Jen. And I went online and found the stickers that you see on the top left side of the screen. That's a mama and a baby giraffe. These stickers are in her shower. So every single day when she goes to take a shower, she sees the giraffes. Click. Down below is a picture of our old dog, Super Teddy, with his favorite toy, a giraffe. He posed. We sent this picture to Jen. Click. To the side of that, there's a picture of me at a shopping mall. My wife, Tina, and I were walking down the mallway there, and I saw this giant stuffed giraffe, and I said, hey, hun, do you have your camera? She rolled her eyes and said, yeah, go ahead. So I get to pose with the giraffe, sent the picture to Jen. Now, this is all ways of cheering her on, keeping her going, keeping her clicking. When you know someone's goal, somebody important to you, number one thing to me, cheer them on and support them. Next to that is a series of 4 pens. There is a giraffe, couple of jungle cats, and an elephant. Someone sent her African jungle animal pen set to cheer her on. So she posed for a picture with that. Up above, you see Jen with some of the spots colored in on the Giraffrica tote board. Every Friday, she would do a Facebook Live to her clients, to her team members, to her friends. And every time she had saved $500 live on Facebook, she colored in the spot. She celebrated the clicks along the way. We can all do this with all of our goals. It's not just us. It's us and the people whom we know, like, and trust, who have our backs, who support us on the journey. It can be very lonely when you set a goal, especially in the days of COVID, when we're more isolated, when maybe we're working remotely, when we can't get out of the house, when we can't go to the offices at the Brain Injury Alliance and see the people we normally see, when we're feeling stuck. Social media is an amazing place for us to connect with these people and keep those bonds going and growing. And in my case with Jen, we don't even live in the same state. We've only seen each other 2 or 3 times in person in our lives in the 5 years we've known each other. But we continue to cheer on. We continue to celebrate each other. People have sent her stuffed animal giraffes. And somebody, you can see the picture in the bottom right-hand side, a little giraffe, a little steel ornament. And she keeps that every time she has an event or she's going somewhere, she keeps that in the palm of her hand. And she just says, tonight at this event, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to get closer to my goal. And in the 2 years that we had planned on, she celebrated and she got and achieved her goal. She was supposed to go last year, but again, how did COVID affect our vision boards? Well, her trip got postponed. It was supposed to be in the summer of 2020, then it got up to 2021. Once again this year, the situation and the circumstances were not perfect. She is now going next year. But here's the thing. She's done all the work. She has clicked her way to the top of that first hill, and now she's just enjoying the ride on the other side. And at the end of that ride is a safari in Africa. So there are so many ways for us to see our goals and to make them happen. I mean, think of any one of your goals, what they might be, and start to run through that, visualize in 5. And I'll be sharing that with you as well, Kristen, as a resource if anybody would like that. that list to kind of process through our ways. Just several weeks ago, I was working with one of my coaching clients, and I said, "What is your goal?" And he says, "I want to be a better parent." And I think that's one of the most noble goals out there. Just to want to be a better human being in general, I think is one of the greatest goals you can have. I said, "Well, okay, how many kids do you have?" He has 2 kids, including his daughter, who just turned 5 years old, and she is adorable. He sent me a picture. She's an absolute angel. He says, "But we have a problem." He said, "My daughter's mom and I no longer live together. They recently split up." He said, "I only have my daughter with me on the weekends, and I miss her so much the other 5 days of the week." And he said for her 5th birthday, her biggest goal, even a 5-year-old kid has goals. This is amazing. She wanted a kitten. So he went out with her, and they selected a kitten for her to adopt. Now the kitten lives with her dad, my client. So for 5 days a week, she is missing the kitten so badly. So I said, "Okay, here's a suggestion. You miss your daughter during the week." He says, "Oh my gosh, my heart breaks all week long because I'm looking forward to those 2 days." I said, "Okay." She loves the kitten. He says, "Oh my gosh, she's already taken over. She feeds the kitten. She brushes the kitten. She plays with the kitten. She cleans the litter box. She's 5 years old, hardest working little kid in the world, loves her kitten." I said, "Okay, every Wednesday when you wake up, here's my suggestion. Take a picture of the kitten." And I asked him, "Do you have any, I forget what the name of it is, graphic design program?" There are a few different ones out there. I said, "Take a picture of the kitten and draw a little speech bubble, kind of like the cartoons and the comics have, and type in something that you would think the kitten would want to say to your daughter on Wednesday to get her excited about being back together for the weekend." And I did a first one for him. And I just said, "I miss you," from the kitten. He sent it to his daughter. And he said she was so excited. She thinks the kitten is actually talking to her. And now every Wednesday, he has been taking pictures of the kitten. Now, here's the cool thing about that as well. As the kitten continues to grow, the kitten's going to look like it does right that week. And I even suggested, I said, "Hey, find little hats for the kitten or a little sweater or something." But every single week, have that moment of connection, that little click, that touch point. When you're feeling disconnected and you're feeling as though you're distant, it only takes that little bit, that little touch, that little communication, that little bit of creativity. Some people say, "Well, that's silly," not to his 5-year-old daughter and not to my client. He lives for those moments. On Wednesdays now, when he sends a picture of the kitten to his daughter, and his daughter's mom actually shot a video of their daughter so happy about seeing her first picture from the kitten, and sent him the video and thanked him for that, which I thought was wonderful. So be thinking of these little ways you can connect with people. And one of the biggest challenges of COVID, like I said, in that life wheel, one of those things, we got the career, the finances, physical health, emotional well-being, relationships, our spirituality and faith, our ethics and morals, our connection to the world in a real way. Connection has taken a beating over the past 18 months. I feel it because I'm not able to be on stage. I'm not flying out to Arizona to be there live with you today. And I miss that so much. But if you're feeling disconnected, I want you to start thinking about these things. How could you communicate with someone today? How could you bring your energy to someone else? Maybe somebody who's feeling a bit down, who's feeling a bit disconnected. If you're on Facebook or some of the other social medias as well, I know that when I get on Facebook on my phone, if I go into Messenger, instead of just typing a message, which is wonderful, there's a little microphone down there. You can leave up to a 60-second voicemail for someone in their Messenger. And a couple of times a week, if I see somebody that looks like they're a bit down, if I see some of their posts and they say, "Well, I'm having a challenging week," or "Things are a little tough right now," or "This happened and I'm just not feeling great," go to those people, hit record. "Hey, this is Steve. And do you remember the time we did this?" And I just think of my funniest memory with this person. And I'm laughing hysterically while I'm leaving the message. Say, "I was just thinking about you today. Hope you have a great day." Now, first off, that just made my day. And secondly, if your vision is to make the world a better place like it is for me, to bring up your energy, to connect with other people, to show love. If their ethics and morals and integrity include kindness, and you want to leave as many situations a day better than you found them, do things like this. Maybe at your local stores, they have some postcards from your town. You just grab postcards and just write it to someone. And someone actually gets a message from you in their old-fashioned mailbox. I love it when I get handwritten notes, so much that I love to write handwritten notes for people. I love to record little videos to people and send it to them. If they're short enough, they can attach on social media or an email. Hey, I'm here in the studio. I wrote your name on the board today. Hope you're having a great day. And leave it at that. Every single time, people respond and say thank you. Most often heard answer that I get, oh my gosh, how did you know I needed that today? I don't know. I just thought of you, and I don't tell them, yeah, it looked like you were having a horrible day on social media. I saw you. I just say, you know what? You're on my mind and in my heart today. And I just wanted to reach out to you. You know who actually gets the most out of that? A lot of occasions, I do. I find that at the end of the day, the fact that I made the effort to connect with other people, I took a step, I just clicked that one little click. It gets me closer to the top of my ride, which is wanting to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. So there are little ways every single day that we can do this. And we can put the best versions of ourselves out there, and we can identify what our goals are and how to get to the next step every day. But it starts with seeing what it is we wish to have out there. Another friend of mine has a weight loss goal, and he's on a very rigorous workout and mental toughness program right now. It's personal development meets physical development and diet and exercise and all of these things. And the other day, you have to do 75 days in a row. And if you miss a day, and it's very stringent, if you miss a day, you have to start over. And you have to publicly admit in the community that we're all a part of that you missed a day and you have to start over. And the other day I saw him, he was in pain. He said, brother, I have never wanted a candy bar or a Diet Coke as much as I do right now. I said, I almost did it, but I didn't. He was on day 40 at that point. So the next morning after I went to my gym, knowing I'm the visualization and vision board guy, I said, okay, I need a visual representation of something that can keep him going. And I remembered he said he wanted a candy bar so bad. And I was in my car in front of the grocery store and I started laughing. Okay. Went in the store, went right to the candy aisle, found the super giant Reese's peanut butter cups, and I gave them the finger. And I took a picture of my hand giving the Reese's peanut butter cups the finger, and I sent it to my friend. Now I'm looking around, making sure I'm not on store security or having other people think I'm weird. And at the end of the day, he sent me a message. He said, brother, I got 35 days left in this program. And every time I feel like having a candy bar, I'm going to look at that picture. Man, that was funny. So every time I go to the grocery store now, I take another picture. I said, what are the candy bars of your weaknesses? He goes, ooh, Kit Kats, love Kit Kats. So the next day, picture of me giving the finger to a big pile of Kit Kats in the grocery store. And when I get to 3 Musketeers, I'm going to have to get 2 more people to join me. That day should be a little interesting. But see, when you start to think of what your goals are and what your hopes, dreams, and desired outcomes are, understand where you are right now and understand where you wish to go, how you wish to feel, who you wish to become in the process. Wherever you are, and I understand that not everyone has the same abilities to get out right now, especially in whatever part of the country you may be in. It's a little more difficult. We need to bounce ourselves and our intentions off the wall a different way. We have to come at things from a different angle. We have to reach into ourselves and think, what could I do today to get one step closer to where I wish to be? And if you go through the life wheel with all those different areas of your life, here's my challenge to you over the next 30 days to get ready for the year 2022. And you don't have to wait till January 1st to start this. A year is a year is a year. So you got to be really careful of those. You know what? Next year, January 1st, I'm going to start. Because what happens? January 1st, I'm going to start. I'm going to do this. Well, wait a second. Valentine's Day is coming. Yeah, I want to go out and have a nice big fancy meal and a rich dessert. Okay, so I'm going to start. Yeah, I'm going to start in March. Cinco de Mayo is coming. We got to go out and have Mexican and tequila. Okay, we're going to start in April, and then something else, something else. I'm going to start in May. Ooh, Memorial Day. I've got a 3-day barbecue we do. Yeah, I can't do that. June 1st, I'm going to start. Oh, 4th of July, big barbecue, lots of food. Okay. September 1st, beginning of the year. Ooh, Labor Day. Oh, another barbecue. And we just keep doing that to ourselves. You know, every quarter, there's something that can derail us. So we just need to understand, I am here. I want to be here. Regardless of what the rest of the world is doing, I want you to start really getting clear on your visual representation of your goals. Know why you want them. Start taking the action. Meet the people, have conversations with people, learn from the people with whom you need to connect to get there, and start taking actions as small as they are. When I started on my weight loss journey back in May, when I started walking, even before our gym was back opened up, I just started walking. We live in the back roads of New Hampshire. I live on a dead-end street off another dead-end street. We're out in the woods here. Plenty of room to walk in, not a lot of traffic. So I just started walking. The first day I walked maybe a half mile and I was winded and I was already out of water. I'm like, well, first off, we got to get in better shape. So every day I just said, I'm going to walk one more telephone pole, or I'm going to walk to one more intersecting street. And within 3 or 4 weeks, I was walking between 2.5 and 4 miles a day and drinking water and waving to people. And as traffic went by, I just raised my hand, wasn't looking, raised my hand. Hello, thank you for not running me over. Hello, yep. What I quickly found out too, there were 3 different neighbors we have, all of whom owned roosters. I used to videotape myself walking. Here's my feet, here's my feet. Roosters cheering me on, rock on, I'm gonna keep walking. Those little things, as silly as they sound, please understand that on the way to your vision, the world is conspiring to help you. The world and the people closest to you are cheering you on. They believe in you. They want you to believe in yourself. And to some people, a lot of this is woo-woo. And I get that. Now, here's a stat I'm going to lay on you. I don't know the exact number. There are 7.7 billion people in the world, 7.77 billion in the world right now. You are in a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of people who actually show up on calls like this to be part of events like this with the Brain Injury Alliance of Arizona, who believes in you and wants to help you to get to your next level, whether it's in your recovery, whether you are a brain injury survivor, or you are a person working with people who have survived their injuries and are working to help them and build relationships to get them back to a better place, to find and discover and be the best versions of themselves possible. You're in the tiniest percentage of the world who actually believes in personal development and actually seeks out events like this to improve your life. That alone puts you in the front car, in the front seat of the coolest roller coaster in the world. Please understand that. Even in the days where you feel a bit lost, even in the days where you feel disconnected, or you feel as though you're stuck because of COVID and everything else going on, you have the opportunity. You just got to bounce it off the wall a different way. I got a testimonial this morning from a dear friend, a gentleman named Brett. And Brett works with a company that has in-home parties and expos. He's actually a team member along with Your Africa Jen. And Brett sent me a story this morning and said, vision boards work. And here's why they work. And Brett has been part of 5 events with me. Matter of fact, we used to drive down together 150 miles. I would just pick him up along the way to go to his headquarters, to the company he worked at. And he said, COVID nearly destroyed my business because he couldn't do in-home parties. There were no more expos going on. What Brett did was say, well, hey, I got Facebook Live. I've got a worldwide potential audience. So every Monday night for a half an hour to 45 minutes, Brett would go on Facebook Live and talk about one of their products, one of their programs, one of the services that he offered. He has won more awards in the past year than he's won in the 7 years that he's been part of the company. His sales are higher than ever before. He has done 77 episodes in a row. Click, 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 click. 77 Monday nights in a row. He just bounced his business off the wall a different way. He knows what his desired outcomes are. He sees it. He sees who he's going to have to become in the process. He sees the best people to surround himself with. He speaks to and has conversations with all the people who are outselling him in the company. That's who he watches. He doesn't watch the people who are there complaining about what's going on. He watches the people who are rising up and coping and doing the best with the same situations. That's who he follows. And those are the steps that he takes. So whatever your goals may be in any one of those categories, please understand it starts with knowing where you are right now, where you want to go, and all those other parts of the Visualize in 5 process to get there. I promise you, here's what I promise you. I never promise results. I promise that if you follow those steps and you are consistent, you can build momentum, you can get there. And the more you build momentum, the more confident you get. And the more you start to shed the people and the thought processes and the patterns and the voices that are trying to bring you down. I've deleted so many people from my life and my phone and my social media that my page is one of the happiest versions of itself it's ever been, because I surround myself with the best people. This is my 3rd event now with the Brain Injury Alliance of Arizona, because they're my people. And I love being a part of events like this. And if anyone has questions, I know we're running up against the time right now. If anyone has a question or wants to even hash out a visualization very quickly, quick exercise with a couple of suggestions, I'm very happy to do that. And let them rip, open up. And if not, I'm happy to share another case study of something that happened last year.
I do have one question that was sent to me just as a little direct message.
Sure.
Back when you're talking about looking up somebody else that you see as being successful, it's something you want to do. And she was a little concerned about the healthiness of comparing yourself to somebody else. And so I didn't know. I was like, let me ask that towards the end. I'm guessing he's got a good response for it.
Yes, that is an excellent question. Here's the thing. They are them, you are you. And there's a real thing out there. It's called imposter syndrome, where we feel as though we say we want to do something, but well, I'm not good enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not good looking enough. You know, I said for years, I have a face for radio because I was on the radio. But here's the thing. You are the best version of you out there. Now, you can learn the concepts from other people. You can learn some of the steps, but you don't have to be them. Please don't ever put yourself in a position like I'm just going to speak for the speaking world. When I first started out speaking, I said, I'm going to be the next Tony Robbins. There's already a Tony Robbins. I don't have to be the next Tony Robbins. I have to be the first best version of me. So please understand that when I'm suggesting to go look at these people for inspiration, that's all it is. It's inspiration and steps to take. You don't have to become them. Because a lot of times what happens, well, back in the old days when we would have, Xerox machines, you Xerox one thing and you take the original off, you put the next one and you keep making copies and keep switching it out. By the end, it's just this watered down gray version of something that you can't identify. Be the best version of yourself moving forward and do everything in your own voice, in your own style. Authenticity is king, because you never know who's out there in the shadows cheering for you that you are. Because of who you are, how you are, and the way you do it, it's your voice that reaches them. And I was in a grocery store it's now 7 years ago, walking down the Captain Crunch aisle because I was in between meetings and I had to grab something. And a gentleman walked past me and goes, "Hey man, you're that speaker, right?" I turned around. We were the only two in the aisle. I said, "Yes, sir, I'm a speaker. What do you remember?" He told me a story I'd shared on stage, the picture that had been on the screen, the lesson of the story, and how he had applied it a week after he had first met me at a speaking event to land himself a job. See, it was an unemployment networking event. I did 43 of them over the course of 3 years. I said, "Sir, what location were you at?" And he told me. I said, "That was 3 years ago." He goes, "Yeah, man, geez, I never thought I'd have a chance to thank you. Thanks." And he said, "Because of the way you said what you said, and you're not like any other speaker." He goes, "I got the job. So thank you. I'll just be in me And that's the best thing you can be. You can follow and be inspired by others, but just remember to be yourself. That person in the mirror, that's the best gift you're ever going to have. Be the best version. And I also encourage you, look in that mirror every single day and find one thing you appreciate, respect, and admire about that person in your mirror. Even if you start at the top of your head and look down and you go, well, at least your socks match. Hey, that's something. Next day, do it again, but you can't do the socks thing again. You got to find something else. You may say, you know what? I love my eyes. I love my smile. I still have most of my hair that I had in the 80s, which I'm losing a few shingles off the roof here, but I still got a bunch of it. Every day, just find something that encourages you. Be grateful. Have gratitude. Write your gratitudes down. That's a little teaser, by the way. Write these things down and make them a part of who you are. And every day when you do that one thing in your head, click, click, click. So I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely. Steve, I still have my hair that I had in the 80s, but I don't think there's enough hairspray to make it.
Yeah, the 80s were the don't stand near an open flame days.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Get through though. This is a great, I want to say thank you for that. The authenticity, be yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to be happy with whatever you do achieve. And imposter syndrome is real. They've actually done scientific studies on it. Quite a lot of data on it, actually. So this is, we got a lot of love for you. Someone says you're the best. We have the best speakers, and Steve, you're amazing. So thank you so much. This is a great question, though. If we could, if you have time for this one.
Most definitely, yes.
Barbara would like to know, what if you can't decide what you want? I mean, what a great question to ask after the last 2 years we've been through. How do you sit with yourself and decide that?
I can tell you exactly where I was sitting when I decided to become a speaker. The first things I would suggest is, if you can't decide what you want, first off, go somewhere quiet. I mean, even if it's in your home, but just turn off all things electronic, be by yourself, grab a pen and paper, because to me, there's no better way to get it out there. And just start writing. What do I appreciate about my life right now? And think again of all the categories in the life wheel. Where do I wish I could be? What do I wish I could do? What things am I passionate about? What do I care about? What are my skills? What am I good at? And if you're not quite sure about these things, reach out. Know, like, and trust are absolutely huge in this. Reach out to your best friend. And even if you can I ask you a really weird question? And they say, well, I'll put it on the pile with all the other ones. Go ahead. Why are we friends? What is it about me that encouraged you to want to still be my friend? And if you've been working with a company for a long time and you have a great relationship with one of your leaders or manager or a coworker, just ask, what value do I offer here? What is my greatest asset? Because when you can reach out like that, if you can't quite see it yourself or know where you want to go or who you want to become, the people around you can actually give you some clues. I've had people say things to me over the years and I go, really? Like, that is important? And those little attributes point us in the right direction. And my favorite place where I was sitting, where this all changed for me, I went to the beach about 17 or 18 years ago, and I sat with a pen and a pad of paper, and I wrote about 9 pages of where I wanted my life to go in all of these categories. And it was the most amazing exercise I think I ever could have done. And then I made a vision board, my very first ones, reflecting those things. And some things didn't excite me for long. They got replaced. You don't have to nail this on the first try. All of these things are works in progress. And when you know your why, those are the ones that are going to stick.
And one thing that I thought about while you were talking today, and all the different examples, is that it doesn't always have to, you don't always have to start out with a safari, it seemed like, from my takeaway. Like, even something like making sure that you have all your doctor's appointments scheduled and making it to your dentist appointments and stuff. And just, it seems like it's like really so much richness in what you said today. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And for things like appointments, I use the Google Calendar now, because the ceiling fan plus my sticky note museum that I used to have on the wall were not a good combination. I was missing stuff left and right. I have a Google Calendar now, and on the weekends, I make sure that everything's in, and I get the 30-minute warnings for it. Little things like that, systems If you can build a system to keep yourself on track with things, your mind gets to go to so many other amazing places when you build that support network under yourself. So even scheduling things like that, put reminders out there so that your thoughts can be on maybe other things during the day, and just know that you've got your own back in that situation.
I love it. And we have some more questions. Somebody wants to know if we have contact information on our website. You have a great Facebook page too. So Carol, Kristen will send all of that information out so that you can have your daily dose of Steve anytime you want. And Steve, we're going to have you come back. Real quick, someone would like to know, how many vision boards do you have? Do you have separate vision boards for one for the year or one for life?
I do tend to build them for 1 year at a time, and they do include all of the areas of the life wheel as well. Now, sometimes what I set in a year, I may have goals that are 10, 20 years down the line. What I set for the year, knowing the long-term goal, is how much of it I wish to accomplish during that year. And I may even have the big 20-year thing, but I'll have this year's increment there with it. And then each year I just progress and progress. And if I knock a goal off really early in the year, I don't just coast. I set the next level and I put it over the top of that other one, but I leave just enough hanging out to know that I've made progress. And when you get to the point where your vision board feels like a relief map of South Dakota, you can build another board. If you've just created this monster of success and never throw them out. That's one of the things I love most, is looking back at my old boards, because it's like looking up a mountain and thinking, wow, that top is still really far, and looking over your shoulder and realize the parking lot, the porta potties, they are way in the distance because you've come so far. And do this to yourself when you do that, and understand that you're in motion and you're growing and you're so far from where you were. You can sit on a rock in the sun eating a sandwich and celebrate it. And then you just start walking a little farther.
I love it. Thank you, Steve. We'll have to have you back again soon. Thank you so much for joining us. I also
My
want to say
pleasure.